Section 4, Video 4, Storage Maximums and VMDK Types. In this video, we will review storage maximums with vSphere 6.5 as well as look at VMDK storage types. Virtual machine storage maximums, storage virtual adapters and devices. We can now support up to 4 virtual SCSI adapters per virtual machine, 15 virtual SCSI targets per virtual SCSI adapter, resulting in a total of 60 virtual SCSI targets per virtual machine. The virtual disk size stays at 62 terabytes. In terms of devices, you can install one IDE controller per virtual machine, and up to 4 IDE devices can be connected. Devices can be either CD-ROM or disk. You can connect up to 4 virtual SATA adapters per virtual machine, and you can connect up to 30 virtual SATA devices per adapter, and devices can be either CD-ROM or disk. Moving on to the ESXi host storage maximums. Virtual disks per host are supported are 2048. iSCSI physical learns per server 5 and 12. Cavium QLogic 1 GB iSCSI HP initiator per server can connect up to 4. Similarly, Cavium QLogic 10 gig adapters per server connect up to 4. The number of total paths on a server is 2048. Number of paths to a LUN, which applies to both software iSCSI and hardware, is 8, and software iSCSI targets is a maximum of 256. For network attached storage, NFS mounts supported is 256 per host. In terms of fiber channel, LUNs per host 5 and 12. LUN sizes supported is 64 terabytes. LUN ID has increased from 0 to 1683. Number of paths to a LUN is 32, and number of total paths on a server is 2048. We can mix the different types of HPAs, and a total of 8 are supported on a host. In terms of common VMFS, which includes VMFS 3, the volume size is 64 terabytes. However, for VMFS 3 volumes with 1 MB block size, the maximum volume size is capped at 50 terabytes. Volumes per host supported is 5 and 12. Hosts concurrently sharing a data store is a maximum of 64. Powered on virtual machines per VMFS volume supported is 2048, and concurrent vMotion operations per volume is 128. For VMFS 5 and the latest version of VMFS 6, raw device mapping size virtual compatibility is 62 terabytes, while raw device mapping for physical compatibility is 64 terabytes. Block size 1 MB supported, which is now the default block size, and even in VMFS 5, which is upgraded from VMFS 3, will inherit the 1 MB block size. File size supported 62 terabytes, and files per volume supported is approximately 130,000. Now let's take a look at the VMDK file types that are supported. Essentially, there are 3 types: thick disk format, thin disk format, and eager zeroed. The thick disk is the most common and is also the default type if none other is selected, and that's the format deployed on most VMs. The disk capacity is pre-allocated at creation time. However, it's not formatted at time of deployment. The disk area is zeroed out during write. The thin format is very similar to thick disk. However, the disk capacity is not pre-allocated, and it allows overcommitment of storage and requires obtaining additional capacity and zeroing disk area during write. The third format, which is eager zeroed format, provides the highest performance as compared to thin and thick. The capacity is pre-allocated similar to thick format. However, the disk is formatted with 0 as the time of deployment. which results in a faster and more scalable response. Clustering and fault tolerant require shared disk to be eager zero thick. Let's take a look at the graphic shown here. It's comparing thick with two thin disks. As we can see, for a thick disk of 20 GB, it is occupying the full 20 GB. The data store size is 100 GB. The first thin disk is 40 GB capped, meaning it can grow to 40 gigabytes. However, currently it's only using 20 gigs. The other thin disk, which is capped at 80 gigs, is currently using 40 gigabytes. The total size occupied right now is about 80 gigabytes. As we can see, thin provisioning supports overcommitment storage. As these disks fill up, the total will be more than the size of the data store. So it's important to implement some kind of storage or disk monitors to ensure that the data store does not fill up. To summarize, we looked at virtual machine storage maximums, looked at ESXi host storage maximums, reviewed VMDK types, which include thin, thick, and eager zero thick. In the next video, video 5, we will review virtual disk operations. Thank you for watching.